But we're excited to get the day underway and to introduce our two teams. We'll send it now down to Frankie on the main stage.
Very much, Benson. Now, London, before we get started, let me tell you a story. Last year, I was on the other side of the world, and I saw some footage from the Copper Box in April. And to be honest, it was like a bunch of filthy animals. And I saw you all. And I thought, those are my people. And I've got to join them next time. So thank you, CDL, for having me. Now, are you ready to welcome your first two teams, London? Wicked. Okay, well, our first team, they didn't have the best start in Minnesota, but they do have a British boy in their ranks in the form of Zero. I know he's got a few fans here, so let's meet them. It's the New York Subliners.
Mr. Ice in his vein. Bomb go top. He gets the damage in. He can't miss it. It's accuracy. Here we go. 1 versus 3.
It's like, no worries, bro. I got this.
Continues to light it up. Come in and dominate the respawn.
All right, London, you can do better than that. It's the New York Subliners! Now, I don't know what kind of noise the crowd are going to make for our next team, because they did beat the London Royal Ravens in Minnesota. But listen, no one is going to underestimate this team ever again. It's Paris Legion.
Shocks, cuts them in half.
And what is that flick?
The Legion come out on top.
Zed with the cluster.
It all comes down to this.
That was as close to perfect as you're going to see in a round.
Everyone say hello, bonjour to Paris Legion. I think, London, that was more of a bonjour. Listen, really all I care about is the Battle of the Brits here. We've got Zed, we've got Zero, Benson and Chance. What you reckon?
Thank you so much, Frankie. You're absolutely right. A couple of Brits on both sides, but the crowd definitely welcoming Paris Legion, I think it's fair to say. It's going to be a good first game, though, Chance.
I'm incredibly excited. Again, it's the two conflicting storylines. A team that was expecting to be bad that might not have overperformed, but performed up to their own standards. Looked fantastic at 2-0. And the flip side for the Subliners, where they got completely obliterated. So hopefully they've gone back to the drawing boards, figured out what their mistakes were going to be, and turn up for this match here in London.
Well, of course, for every game, we must know our maps. So we'll take a look now at our maps and modes presented by the US Air Force to see exactly where things are going to play out. Chanson, I really want to get your opinion. How does the series look for both teams?
Well, obviously, it's not like we have a ton of data. They've only played 2 matches so far in the year, but the Hackney Yard hardpoint that we're kicking off with, neither one of these teams have played it so far. Really, the only standout map at all is actually going to be that domination. And of course, it's really going to be only Paris that's played the map twice, so they have a little bit more experience on it than the Subliners are going to have, at least in terms of being on land, but we'll see if they have anything cooked in the books.
And again, to reiterate, for New York, we expected to see them do great things on opening weekend. We didn't really get to see that. Paris, on the other hand, we didn't really expect much, but they showed us a lot. So very excited for this first game, and obviously you saw the little slide there. We want to talk about, of course, the quick scope, again, presented by the US Air Force, and really get a look at exactly how this series is going to play out. Predictions, Chance?
So that's like the interesting one, right? Because like anyone that paid attention to the last series, well, you have to look at the Paris Legion, expect them to win. The stats are heavily lopsided in their favor.
Yes.
I mean, even for the Subliners, that S&D KD is a 0.5 as a team.
That's bad.
And keep in mind, they are 2-12 in round count. Like, they got obliterated by the phase on Piccadilly 6-0. They lost 6-2 the other time. But the good news for them, they finally got rid of Piccadilly. So we're not going to see it in this series. So they were 2-12 on that map, but at least they're switching things up.
Well, without further ado, game one about to get underway. Again, the Royal Ravens home series here live from London for the weekend. It's going to be a good weekend. And as we said, we've got some good games today to start things off. And you're absolutely right. Some of the maps that we saw from New York didn't look the best. We had a chance to speak to coach and analyst JP and Revan. Of course, course, good friends of ours, and they kind of filled us in a little bit on some of the decision making, but we won't see that game mode specifically, or map and game mode combination specifically in this series. And maybe New York might improve some of those stats there, Chance.
I think New York's going to turn up as well. I think if you go back and look at their first 2 series, well, one of which they played against Atlanta FaZe, who have just been smoking teams left and right. So they falter there. No harm, no foul, right? That's kind of the expectation. Now they know, oh boy, we actually have to turn up. This Parrot squad is coming to play.
Most definitely is. Game 1, Hackney Yard, hardpoint. Without further ado, first game of the day, Paris Legion versus the New York Subliners. And it makes sense to kick things off with a Brit. Admittedly, he's playing overseas, but it doesn't matter. It's Zero. He's been a fan favorite of the English for quite some time. So excited to see how he fares this year, and of course in this game as well.
Well, it doesn't fare too well off the rip. It's actually going to be Dens that turns up, and these are just going to be standout players across the board. It was the Aussies, really, for me, that were standing out from the Paris Legion the first time around. Dens and Shocks were playing out of their minds in the respawn. Their KDs look ridiculous. We saw that towards the start, and, well, off the rip, already quite a few kills going their way.
Yep, as it stands, small lead for Paris Legion, nothing too much, and of course New York are inside the hill, so they'll chip away at that early lead and take the lead themselves. But it's this man on your screen now, Luca, who really all eyes seem to be on when you talk about Paris Legion.
I mean, he's going to be the expected superstar coming out of Australia, right? He was the guy that as soon as he turned 18, they were like, he's the new man on the roster, the new man turning up for the country/continent to go big. But right here, he's going to falter. It's actually going to be Zuma that shuts him down.
And that's a player I do really want to talk about, because from what we saw from opening weekend, Zuma played so well. Yes, you can look at a few search and destroy performances and say, that didn't really feel like Zuma of old, but it does. When you watch his respawn performances specifically, you feel like he's back in an old Call of Duty Ghost form, if nothing else. This honestly could be his year.
I mean, I was expecting the question of like, who do you want to see on the Subliners kind of step it up? And for me, it was like everyone but Zuma. It wasn't a one man, it was the rest of the team kind of situation. But either way, off the opening rip, the Subliners get a phenomenal amount of time. However, now they have to break into P2.
Right, and we had this conversation with Revan, ironically enough. We were watching New York scrim yesterday, and it was this map specifically. He said, yeah, you know, P2 is one of those where if you rotate early, you get a full 60. It's simple, and ironically enough, New York broke within the first 10 seconds. But it is a tough one to try and hold, Chance.
And at the same time, though, you talk about how impossible it is to break, and now the Subliners have it surrounded, and they break through seemingly with ease. And we were cracking the joke of Revan. They break it all the time, so I don't know why they're so in their heads about it, but the success is there. They had a nice lead after P1. They end up breaking through on P2, and they're just going to re-extend that lead that they built for themselves. But of course, if you break through on P2, now you have to rotate to the next hill as well, and they're going to have to do it as soon as possible.
New York so far playing well, 65-38. As finally, the second hill is done. We'll rotate over towards B3. Just a quick kind of stat upgrade. Zuma currently stands 8-7, leading the charge for the New York Subliners. On the flip side, it's Kismet. We haven't talked about him, but I'm sure when we get to game 2, we will. Just a leader in search for Paris.
Leader in search for Paris, but now you're just watching every single pair off of players almost fall one by one. Kismet, though, is going to be racking up some of the hill time, and the Subliners, well, are able to get 4 down, clear out the hill, and they're going to be able to break on through. So every single hill, it's been Paris gets there first. The Subliners, though, eventually overwhelm them.
Again, a glance at the stats. Dens picking things up a little bit for Paris Legion, but still, it's New York inside the hill. 20 seconds remain. Luca finds 1. Didn't find the second. Zuma would be that kill, but his teammate's slaying out. That's the important thing, and as he watches the cross, another easy double for Luca. Paris Legion may have been down, but they're making a little bit of a comeback here, Chance.
And right now, it's actually Paris doing a pretty good job on this hill just with the AR presence. We've seen meta talks all the time about it being 4 MP5s, 1 M4. They're actually running a double M4 setup, having quite a bit of success with it. And you see Dens, again, one of the standout players for Paris back in Minnesota right now, at least tied for leading the lobby in terms of slaying. Either way, though, it's back to the Subliners inside the hill. Attach able to pick up another kill. Well, he's got to wait for his teammates to come give him some backup because Paris are trying to surround him.
Attach on your screen should have the first engagement, and that's going to be Kismet, but in actual fact, Paris Legion will start to flood the pinches in. Shocks gets himself a double. Paris break.
Paris break, and they're in free and clear. 30 seconds left on the hill, and, well, they might be able to at least tie the game up so long as New York doesn't get inside, and you can already see New York, they're not putting a ton of pressure on that hill. They don't want to overextend themselves. They're trying to make sure they keep that map control, and that's why you see the arrow at the bottom left corner of the minimap. He's just there to watch mid. He's not going to move. He's going to be that anchor trying to keep those spawns, well, towards the left side of the map.
Temp springs into life. There's a double, and honestly, he might not be done yet. There's 3 for Temp. Can he find number 4? 6 seconds remain on the hill. hill. It's a close game, 96-92. As Temp wants to contest the final few points. There's going to be 3 players lining up, and unfortunately for him, only finds 1. Den's again there for the trade.
And still just a great job of that map control attach, even picking up double kills, and that is just pouring the pressure on, because New York, they spawn up 2 steps away from the hill. Paris, it's going to be a bit more of a hike, so nice little spread on the map for the Subliners. Zero going to be the man inside the hill, just waiting for these players to start funneling through, setting him up for easy kills.
And this could be a big moment for Trave. He's able to try and find a couple of kills. He has a teammate in support as well. New York could build themselves a nice lead, but unfortunately Attach getting a little ahead of himself, takes down his teammate Zuma, and now has to really redirect his attention back towards the hard point. Zed will fall. Attach taking his time, but unfortunately for him, maybe that misplay could cost New York, but still, they're inside the hill.
And now we're thinking multiple hills in advance. You got the Subliners right now fighting for the right side. That way they have it for P2, and this is being done before that first hill even pops again. But either way, the expectation, these 2 teams going to go head-to-head. A very tight game here, and frankly, I'm looking at a couple players inside of Paris like Zed to heat things up just a little bit more. The only player in the lobby without double digits in kills.
Yeah, a little slow start from him, 8 and 12. Does have 25 seconds hill time, but in terms of hill time, it's Den's at 15 and 11 with a minute and a half hill time so far. But with 48 seconds and almost a tied game, Luca on your screens. What damage can he try and do here for Paris? Point neutral, no one on it. Luca trying to slay from above. He's found 1. There's number 2, almost with 3. Zuma has to play his life.
And this is another situation where the ARs right now for Paris are just coming up big. The first time Paris really had a lead this entire game, and now Zed's allowed to play. The problem is, well, the top side of the minimap is open, but you see the New York Subliners, they don't know exactly if they can force through or rotate towards the current hill on P1. Players inside right now just getting cleaned up by Kismet, but it's a similar situation again where New York, they're not able to secure those right side spawns. They're gonna have to break through on P2.
Tough, but we mentioned, of course, in the first rotation, how hard that can be. New York, they get very, very easy every time we've watched them play this map. We'll see, though, off the rip, Paris Legion set up, ready to go. It's important now they get the first couple of kills, the first push from New York, and of course for Paris, they now could build themselves a sizable lead. Is this maybe where New York throw this map away?
Well, this is a big moment for Paris just to extend it. You got Zed as that leading cutoff man. He's going to fall, but you just see the presence that Paris have just across the bottom, or the right side of the minimap, excuse me. And, well, New York, you're going to have an opportunity just to flood through. The smokes are going to help, but even when they're picking up these kills, Paris is just going to consistently spawn right on top of each other, and that's what makes it so difficult to break through. You basically need a clean 5 down followed by a second clean 5 down to get through.
20 seconds remain. Could there be one last push? Well, there's the first 5 down. You ask and you shall receive, but Paris is still going to smoke close to your point, and New York should know this. Zuma turns, unfortunately not going to find the kill. He's going to give the information to his teammates, but now it's about just delaying time, contesting as much as you can. Paris don't even want it. They're going to push out. We rotate to P3 with Paris Legion in the lead, 179 to 145.
Now you can see accuracy. He's going to be in his home. He wants to live inside the hard point, be posted up for as long as possible. And, well, you see that mid-map. He's got clearance there. Everyone for Paris is going to be trying to flood through. Well, pretty much the right side. Accuracy gets the 1 free kill. And, well, you can see how easy his job is, honestly. He's got his teammates, has the cover everywhere for him, but eventually the nade is going to take him down and get him out of that hill.
New York still trying to come back into this one. 35 seconds remain. Quick glance at your stats. Really, the only thing that stands out to me is accuracy. Having a great game, 24-17, 38 seconds of hill time. He's going to have to keep on that pace if you want to try and come back and take game 1 in this series. Zero back on your screens, though. Looking to maybe try and find the cut mid-map. Kismet will be there, and Zero should be able to find at least 1, maybe more. 2 more plays in front. Den shuts him down, though. However, New York in the hill. If they get the final 9 seconds scrap time, it's basically a tied game.
Back and forth game, as you would expect. Now the Subliners actually have maybe a mini advantage rotating to do. You see the kill feed. That's going to be a clean 4 down. They're going to have that rotation very early on and try to extend it as much as possible. Now Paris, well, honestly, have their work cut out for him. You got Attach up top. He's on a 4-3, starting to get a little bit hot.
Can he do more damage? He's actually found number 5. It's Luca, but unfortunately he does fall, but it's New York in the lead. 197, 184, 0. Is it your time to shine? 2 in front of him from Paris, but Temp is there. The trade comes through. New York hold the hill.
Doing just enough. It's one last man standing and Temp the last one alive, and now you got that 20-point lead trying to bump it up just a little bit further. Happy to let this hard point contest. You see Zero going to be a bit of the bait, but Kismet actually flies down, takes down 2 from the steps, and just like that, Paris, well, they're good to get that final 15 a scrap.
Dens should be able to find 1. And that scrap time chance, as you mentioned, so important. Again, puts us at almost a tied game as we go into the next hard point, which will rotate in a couple of seconds. Kismet picking up the scrap time. But again, it's all about that rotation. Zuma wins a big gunfight, 0 with 2 as well. This is going to be a hard one for Paris Legion to break.
Well, right now you see Paris on the bottom left of the minimap. They're really trying to put the pressure down there. That way they can just block those spawns from the subliners. And well, Zed, that's his job. That's why he's playing slow. But now you got all 5 players for Paris working their way towards this hill. Accuracy, of course, in his home, ready for the gunfight. This
is one thing you could probably fault New York from opening weekend, was their kind of inability really to close out in these clutch situations, but that is pretty much perfect. They can win it here. 13 seconds. Luca has to try and make a play for Paris. He's found one. Can he get number 2 and 0? No, he can't. And with 5 seconds left, Kismet is left scrambling towards the hill. Will he even be able to get in? I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And that is game number 1. New York Subliners take it 250 to 202.
And this is the Subliners we've been expecting to see, Ben. They were 0-3 in Hardpoint before that map right there, and they look fantastic. And I'll tell you, that kill that Temp had at the end on Zed, that was the play, right? Paris are trying to lock down those black spawns just to block out the Subliners. As soon as Temp turns and burns like that, you know New York are going to be happy.
And again, it's super important to note that for New York, they look good, right, at times in opening weekend. When you watch the hardpoint, for maybe the first hill rotation, then maybe even the second rotation, you're like, okay, they're playing as we expect. But closing out the hardpoints was what really seemed to be their thorn in their side. That, a much better display, more composure, putting the pressure on Paris early in the series.
And especially for a team that has it in their head of how difficult P2 is to break. Well, the first time they had a great deal of success, they made it look easy. Even the second time around where they don't ever really get the clear-cut break, they still take Paris out of the hill for maybe 20 seconds out of the full 60. Which is not bad. It's respectable. It helps you for the rotation going on. And then ultimately, in my mind, it's accuracy. He's the litmus test of the team. If his players in front of him are falling around him when he's trying to be inside the hill, his stats are going to look terrible. So when you see him leading the lobby in terms of slaying, that means everything is going right for this New York team.
Of course, it's a great game out of Zuma as well, a player we kind of praised highly. But the one thing that we mentioned, search and destroy, Paris Legion, there's one player you have to talk about every time they play search. It's Kismet. The man is so talented. We got to see it all throughout the season last year, and he started this season very good, as long as he didn't have a sniper in his hand.
Well, I mean, so he was respectable with the sniper, but he's just the type of player that you would prefer to cause as much chaos on the map as possible. You don't want him to have a sniper in his hand. But again, if it works, it works. But it wasn't the best thing in the world.
It didn't work.
Either way, him and Zed as a duo as well, because I think Zed put up a 1.39 in search over the event. Kismet with a 1.3, so they're neck and neck. But those two players have been the duo of sorts, the American and the Brit, doing what they can.
Well, we'll talk more about search and destroy in just a sec. Want to have a quick glance at our Scuff Gaming play of the game. It was a close map number 1, but it was closed out right at the very end. Some massive kills coming in from New York, which did just enough to see game number 1 go their way.
And again, honestly, dealer's choice on which kills exactly you want to get. And frankly, it was just the win.
Just the win.
Was the play of the game.
The win is the play of the game.
Hey, if you win, that's the entire goal. Disgusting stuff we see on that final scoreboard.
Hey, man, they close it out. That's what counts, right? It's what we talked about so far for New York. But back to the conversation.
Best in the business, man.
Of course.
Best in the business.
What you want to talk about, Kismet, right? His search and destroy, I kind of laughed a little bit with Paris. After they played their second series, they went to do an interview with some of the media in one of the media rooms, and I just finished doing something myself. I walked out. I was like, oh, Kismet, dude, really good job. Just maybe don't use a sniper in search and destroy. And he kind of went, ha ha ha. And all his teammates were like, nah, dude, he was killing it. I was like, was he though? And even Kismet himself was like, yeah, you probably won't see me do that much for the rest of the season. So for me, you make the perfect point. Cause as much chaos as possible, right? That's what we know Kismet can do in search and destroy. The flanks, just the crazy mid-map pushes sometimes. He's just very creative, and he's a player you want to see as mobile as possible.
I mean, he hasn't reached like Fellow or Zuma status with the flanks or the mid-map pushes yet, but
not yet.
Still an agent of chaos. And like, I've never seen a player so happy when they get like a specific map, be like, this is my wheelhouse, this is where I want to be.
This is me, baby.
Kismet's one of those guys, man. He does not lack confidence in himself at all, and this is the perfect kind of map for him. We say it quite a bit, but Ramaza, again, the min-map pressure is going to be huge. You can cause so much chaos with all the doors, Ben. Frankly, just with all the doors that are down there. Hide behind them, burst on through. There's a ton of plays that you can make with them. And just, if you got to keep an eye on a player on the side of Paris, it has to be Kiz.
Oh, dude, you're absolutely right. And again, on the other side, you look at the duo of Attach and Zuma, and you say, all right, opening weekend, we weren't impressed in Search. There was a couple of donuts that came out. Don't think we're not going to mention it, New York, because we absolutely are. You cannot have that happen again. These are two players that when you think of their careers, when you think about what's made them so good, you think Search and Destroy, whether it's Zuma flanks, Attach in his 1v1s. He never loses his 1v1s, but you cannot be going as negative as they were. I mean, a donut and Search for players of that caliber, unacceptable.
And the crazier thing to me is you only played 2 maps of Search and Destroy. Attach and Zuma dropped donuts in one of them, and they still had a higher KD than accuracy over the course of like the weekend for Search.
Why you gotta do it to him?
Not ideal. I mean, again, as a team, just not ideal. They just did not have a good run of it. However, we only saw them on Piccadilly. Here on Ramaza, though, they at least have the man advantage for now.
Well, it's New York on the attack. Attach will be carrying the bomb already. A 1-man advantage has developed. 4 versus 3, advantage to New York. And as you can see, New York thinking a little bit about the B side. They do have control though. They want to try and rotate, force maybe a 4 versus 1 or a 3 versus 1 at the A side. Definitely possible.
And this might just be waiting for Dead Silence to make a play. Attach is going to know that a player's upstairs. You can see him trying to work with Zuma just a little bit to set up this pinch and just about making the move. Shox falls right down. Attach was sitting there waiting for it. Had Zuma for the trade, but not even needed. That leaves Denz and Loka in a 2 versus 4.
Could be possible. I think for me, it's that top orange arrow. It's Luka. And if he can try and collapse in quick enough, maybe the play could be made. But if he takes too long, of course, at that point, bomb's already planted now for New York. So this 2v4 just got a little tougher. And, well, actually watching the flank, Luka will fall. Now it's all down to Denz. The 1v4. Surely, there's absolutely no chance of this. Time ticking. And finally, the kill comes through. New York take round number 1.
And that's the power of having Dead Silence, or not having Dead Silence at the end, where all 4 players on the map know exactly where you are. They know exactly where to look. Attach and Zuma going on the hunt, 0, even with the MP5, just holding it down. But very clean early round from the New York Subliners, carrying that momentum from the first hard point into game number 2.
Oh, round 2, of course, will be Paris Legion on the attack. We'll see, can they try and turn things around. Of course, only Zed getting a pick for Paris Legion in round number 1. We'll see if, as mentioned, he can try to turn things around there. So Attach on the screen's being very aggressive now. Chance over towards B.
This is the most hesitant bomb pickup I've seen in my entire life. A player just sitting in spawn, just debating on whether he wants to grab it or not. But now you have Temp. You can just hear all the doors opening and closing around him. He knows the player is going to be up top above him, but Attach, well, has a couple players in front. But I think when Paris don't grab the bomb, a player is probably having some sort of issue. And, well, the great feature we have, Ben, we can pause the game.
Dude, you know, I didn't know about that until opening weekend. It just came up game pause. I was like, wow, the future is here. It's pretty cool.
I love Beanox, bro. Like, they were in I can't remember what event it was last year. Actually, it was Miami. I do remember. And just hanging out with the Beanox guys and just talking about all the features we're going to have in the future. And I was like,
game pause.
Do we have a pause feature? They were like, we don't have it yet, but we're working on it. But
Shout out to
here,
those guys.
And it is wonderful. And Beanox are my favorite people, Ben. Yeah. My absolute favorite.
I don't disagree.
Well, the British crowd, then Beanox.
Okay.
We'll give it to them.
Sure they'll appreciate that. But I've just been told it's just a controller issue, so it should be resolved very quickly. And we'll get back into the action. Of course, the second round was just about to get exciting there, Chance, it felt like.
Absolutely. And again, you see like the mid-map presence is always going to be important. Like if you get a first blood mid-map and you gain any sort of control on either side, everyone that's over towards the actual site basically just has to stop. But pressure's over towards B. The pause feature just kicks back in. Already kills get traded. Still a true 4 versus 4, but then accuracy and Zuma kill everything.
And that's one of those. I don't think Paris expected that. New York straight at him for the 2-0 lead, and this is more like the New York we expect to see when we talk about Search and Destroy. 2 very quick rounds and a very quick flank as well.
I was going to say, and Zuma flank.
There
as much as we were talking about Kismet being the agent of chaos, again, Zuma, this is what he's been known for 7-8 years, something like that. This is his absolute wheelhouse. So on the flip side, got to keep an eye on him. But the litmus test for New York is accuracy.
Mentioned it before.
The man is 5-0. That's when things are going phenomenal.
Yeah, dude, a great start from him. And speaking of good starts, Zuma 2-0 as well, hasn't died yet. Kick things up on board with accuracy himself. The 5-0 start looking very good, but if he can try and find a first blood here, I think he spotted Shox just. But Shox will scramble away. Of course, New York back on the attack. Can accuracy find that first blood? Oh, well, that's not a great nade. Well, he didn't fall, but Temp is already through.
Temp managed to go through, and again, it's that mid-map pressure that makes it happen. Now Attach is swarming. Free gunfight for him. That's actually going to be a trade-up, but New York, as soon as they get that first kill, they have all the pressure in the world onto the site. Keep in mind, you actually had Zuma going on. Once again, a massive flank with the MP5, shuts Luca down and has Zed locked in his sights.
Crowd appreciating Zuma's strong search and destroy performances as well. 3-0. Can he find more? Zed and Den still alive. I will say shout out to Zuma's dad. He's here as well in attendance. And I feel like Zuma always plays better in front of his old man. So far, that is true. And so far, New York are cruising through Paris Legion. Looking to go 2-0 up in the series here. And we mentioned the story, right, for Paris Legion. They played so very well opening weekend, but was it a fluke? You hate to say it so early, but what was it a fluke? And what did we get from New York? Was it really the ceiling for that team? I think we both agree. No, absolutely not. This is looking more like the New York we expect to see.
And again, like, it's one of those situations where I'm staring at the minimap and trying to figure out who that arrow flanking is. Why do you even have to think about it? Of course, it's going to be Zuma.
Yeah, of course.
He's hanging out at 4-0. Accuracy hanging out at 5-0. It's been a field day. Already, New York has won more rounds in these first 3 rounds than they did the entirety of Minnesota.
One of the really big things you look at on the Paris Legion side of things is Kismet 0-3. There's another pause comes through. Tactical pause this time, I reckon. Slow the game down if you're Paris, right? You want to just,
My controller, guys, I don't know what's going on with it, but we might need to take a bit of a break.
I don't know. 3-0 down. Either way, though, as we mentioned, New York looking a lot more like the New York I think we expected to see opening weekend and didn't. I mean, you talk about game 1, the hardpoint, they close it out. The first hardpoint win, the search and destroy. Now they've won more rounds here in London than they did opening weekend. So overall, a much better showing so far.
I mean, this is the beautiful thing about hot takes. You have an incredibly limited amount of information we get from the first week, including New York having to play FaZe. We know FaZe has been fantastic. The first series, maybe you just get off to a slow start. So now we form all of our opinions, decide everything is just going to be facts, and then the first series comes underway. New York already not even exceeding expectations, just matching what we thought they were going to be from the start. At the same time, though, a couple tactical pauses come in. Paris talk over their strategy just a little bit, figured out and be like, all right, we know Zuma's going to flank. I don't know why we had to figure out 3 rounds to make sure that happened. Just watch it. Yeah, do what Accuracy does. Just stare at it the entire time for 2 minutes straight.
I think
it'll be okay.
2 kills so far this game doing just that. One was against Luca in one of the early rounds. I think it was round number 1. But you're absolutely right in terms of hot takes and what you can expect from teams. And it is worth mentioning again, if you are just tuning in this weekend, very different than what we saw in opening weekend. Tournament format here. So there will be a champion, there will be a winner. Question is, can London do it in London? How sweet that would be. Of course, for everyone else, they would love to deny London that privilege, and it starts with New York and Paris.
And I will say, what a fantastic hoodie on that stunning young man in the front row, Ben. I don't know where he got it from, but he's got great taste.
Thanks, Chance. Appreciate that gas.
I'll do what I can.
Appreciate you. Game still paused. I would assume it's the same issue as last. I have a quick glance down at main stage, and everyone seems good. No, same controller, same player. Maybe you should get a new controller. Might fix the issue.
Just re-talking over how to watch the flank on Ramaz. You got to figure out. You go to the B site, just have someone sit in the tunnel, turn all the way around. You can effectively leave someone in spawn as well if you want to watch it as well. But again, Zuma's been feasting for now. Accuracy has been feasting for now. Got to see if they can continue that. And of course, from the side of Paris, figure something out. I mean, it's not complicated. I'm assuming they'll be able to bounce back in this game as well. But if anything, it's nice for them that the pace gets slowed down.
So here's a question. What if New York just blow through Paris? What does that then do for your perception of Paris Legion?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, my perception hasn't, it would be interesting if Nameless's power rankings, when all is said and done in the next couple months, actually meld in to exactly what they thought they were going to be.
They might.
I would say any team that went 0-2 or 2-0, my opinion hasn't changed drastically.
Okay.
I still think the Empire are going to be top 3 team in the game. I expect great things. I still think the New York Subliners are somewhere in the middle of the pack, but I think they're going to get better as time goes on. And Paris had a great start, but I think they're going to have to claw and dig for every single win against every team they play.
Well, it's enough waffle. Back into the game. New York Subliners 3-0, the advantage they have currently. For Paris Legion, they're on the attack. And so far, it's one of those patient rounds of search and destroy where everyone just waited for that dead silence to make a play.
This is actually New York with quite a bit of pressure. I mean, they are very far pushed up on the map. Temp knows, waiting for the time to set up a kill. Now he spotted 2-player. Kismet's going to be free. Knows Luca's down low, but does the smart thing, just tries to stay alive, and easy first blood for New York.
Temp find one more. Well, he's seen the cross, and that's just enough information. And you'll see a few of those white arrows maybe just move away from the B site, play around the information Temp has been able to gather Zero should be the first one to potentially find himself some action. Back over towards Temp. Honestly, this could be massive if he's able to find these kills.
And this is just patient play from Zero. He's able to at least get one and just stagnate that push from Paris, who, well, now time is ticking down. They got 30 seconds to get this bomb plant. They do have clearance over towards A, but Temp still causing problems, gets the wall bang on Zed, and Paris, well, a man disadvantage once again. They got the work cut out for him. It's all up to, well, now just Denz. See what he can do in a 1 versus 4, but it is a hopeless situation.
Yes. Yes, it is. New York making a statement early here in London. The hard point, yes, was close, but they closed it out nicely. The search and destroy hasn't been close at all, Chance.
I mean, this is every single time we come out of a pause, I like have to regroup myself, see like the state of the scene, and I'm like, oh, New York, they have all the pressure in the world on defense. They have all the map positioning. Temp's in a perfect spot. He's already spotted 2 players. He's got free kills and accuracy. Hasn't done anything for 2 rounds. Still just hanging out. Yeah. Still 5-0.
I mean, 9-0 is the combined stats for accuracy and Zuma, both having great games. And on the other side for Paris Legion, Kismet 0-4, everybody else 1-4. Paris are struggling here in London. However, a first blood for the Brit Zed. He shuts down Attach. Now Paris actually have the advantage.
No time wasted. He's going straight through. A player's in the corner. Temp doesn't need the help. Zuma's just there to cheer him on. As Temp just soars through, but now Zuma, all the pressure in the world. They got clearance on this B site, and they have, once again, that man advantage. But it's going to be Temp and Zuma working together.
That's about as free a kill as you're ever going to get. Temp says, thank you very much. Now, 3 versus 2. Temp with another simple kill. He's just walking through Paris like they're not even there. Denz again. Left, last man up, a 1 versus 4. I respect that from Temp.
I mean, it was a nice shot. He definitely hurt Denz. Denz was very comfortable taking the gunfight, but either way, I mean, last time it was a 1v4 for him. This time he has another attempt at the 1v4, but still, it just seems like a hopeless situation.
It's just funny seeing the way New York changed that. It was, all right, hunt him down and kill him. Temp, I know where he is, I'm challenging him. Temp dies. All right, guys, just play back. let's not feed him an unnecessary clutch, but a good round overall. You can afford to do that in a 4 versus 1. One person can throw his up, especially if it's Temp, right? He's feeling confident. He's just picked up 2. He's looking for number 3.
And I was going to say, like, 2 easy kills as well. Like, where's the reaction
Simple
from Kismet?
kills.
Shock dies up top, and you're just staring out the side of the door, trying to make a read, but it's just how we've already seen that twice, where Shock just gets killed for free because that B site like window up in the office, they just have no pressure. New York has all the pressure, no reaction from Paris, who've just been getting picked apart, and well, Kismet still in the donut camp.
Yeah, a bit rough from him. Of course, he was the player that we were saying you have to keep your eyes out for, and on the flip side, accuracy 5-0, Zuma 5-0 as well. Attach is going to have the first fight, and it's Kismet that gets on the bullet, but Attach's nade was enough to shut him down, and if accuracy pulls the trigger, through the smoke, not gonna happen, but now all of a sudden he may have to spring into life. He goes down, Zed finds 1, 0 and Temp alive for the 2 versus 3. It's gonna have to be a retake as well. 0 falls, Temp all on his lonesome. 1v3.
Temp for the 1v3, and he has got all of his work cut out for him. He's not in the worst spot in terms of positioning. He has been mapped, but he's gonna be loud. Denz is gonna hear him, and finally, Paris get on the board, and I got to give a shout out to that smoke as well. If accuracy just didn't have that smoke right in front of him, would have been a free round for the side of New York once again, but you use the utility correctly, you make the right plays, and finally get a little bit of clearance out onto the site. Paris finally striking back.
Problem for them, of course, is this is a very steep mountain to climb. 5-0 down, need to win 6 in a row. They've done 1. Kismet, of course, gets on the board, 1 and 6. Luca also 1 and 6. Shocks 1 and 5. Paris definitely struggling. Denz, though, doing his best. He's been last man alive for maybe 3 or 4 rounds, it feels like, for Paris Legion. As you can see on the minimap, the way New York have attempted to try to play this round.
Yeah, massive push over to A right now. I mean, Kismet's going on the flank, but he doesn't have a gunfight for quite some time. You of New York have surrounded this A site. Players are through. Temp, though, the most aggressive one on the map. Zed does clean up that kill advantage.
Denz is huge. Denz is massive because he can shut down this push pretty much single-handedly. As the first player over towards A, you cannot let New York get some free kills as accuracy gets 2. Watching the flank, and that is peekaboo from Attach. Pops up, shuts down Zed, or shuts down Denz rather, as that could be the round. Zed and Shocks. Now for the 2 versus 4, Zed trying to be a sneaky little beaver. What can he find? 60 seconds on the clock. Paris, of course, lead every single round, but it's accuracy again. Finds the pick on towards Shock. And Zed all by himself.
And it doesn't matter how sneaky you are, you open that door, you're the Kool-Aid man. He comes through and takes down Zero, but they know exactly where he is, clean him up instantly, and the Subliners on a tear. A dominant 6-1 win.
Yeah, much better in Search and Destroy coming out from New York Subliners from what we saw in opening weekend. Obviously, we're going to reference it a lot because it's the only real data we have on these teams, but New York looking very, very good. A good game 1 win and a very convincing game 2. That, of course, gives them the 2-0 lead in the series. That's everything for myself and Chance for now. We'll be back with game 3 after this.
Tournament audio and team chat listen-ins are brought to you by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League. The US Army, what's your warrior? The United States Air Force, learn more at airforce.com. PlayStation 4, the official platform partner of the Call of Duty League.
First game of the day here in London against Paris Legion. It's been good so far, but I do want to have a quick glance at our tactical play presented, of course, by the US Air Force, and a chance for me. This is going to be a good little play coming out of Temp. Their Search and Destroy was pretty solid.
I mean, when I think of tactics, I think of Search and Destroy, and I'm hoping for the best of the best when it comes to one of those plays. And I mean, honestly, you pick your poison, right? Basically, every single round from the side of New York, you have different moments all over the place where we're watching Zuma get double kills on flanks, accuracy posted up, getting double kills left and right. You have peekaboo moments where it's actually just like, hey, free kill on Dens. All over the place. You have tactical plays, Ben.
Yeah, there were some good plays, that's for sure. And of course, for New York, closing out game number 2, an important one now because they sit 2-0 up in the series. Chance, and to be honest, they're looking fantastic. And here it is, of course, the tactical play presented by the US Army. Here it is, Temp with, honestly, two very free kills. Shox, you can understand. Of course, he's not watching that, but the second one here on Kismet, far, far too easy for Temp.
And again, both of those, there's just zero reaction to what's going on the map from the side of Paris, right? Like, that side is open, Temp, the hop-up is available, Shox is paying no mind to it, and we saw a couple times where New York, they get all the pressure in the world into that building, Paris never reacted, and then it gets worse because Kismet didn't react to the A, my player just died up top, should I go try to hunt that player down, make a move at all? Decides to do nothing, Temp will take the free second kill that he's so happy to get.
Let's take a look at our game fuel keys to victory. We'll start with the New York Subliners, improve slaying, and delete Minnesota from your memory. The last one I definitely agree with, right? It was a slow start, and they seem to have done just that. And in terms of improving your slaying, in Search and Destroy specifically, that's what you're getting.
I mean, even in the hard point, every single player had a negative KD. They didn't win a single one, but they turned up in the slaying category. They do fantastic.
Of course, for Paris, Shox and Dens continue to make a statement and play with something to prove. Of course, coming into the first opening weekend, when it came to something to prove, everyone had them at the bottom of the power rankings. They go 2-0. You cannot lose that fire. You cannot lose that passion, Chance.
Not at all. I mean, the first event, everyone's going to say, hey, it's the first one. We're all getting a feel for this sort of thing. So all the teams are going to come out and just try to smack Paris around from here on out. And, well, we'll see how capable they can be on that. But now we go over towards Gunrunner, which, again, Paris, this is the one that, well, they've played twice. New York, haven't seen them on the map.
And bear in mind, I think Gunrunner was one of the maps that we actually saw New York beat Atlanta on. And it was one, if I'm not mistaken,
that was Hackney Yard.
That was Hackney Yard. Oh, so close.
So Paris are 2-0 on this map. New York haven't played it yet, at least not on land. Obviously, they played in scrims, but I will say, despite the fact that Paris are 2-0 on this map, both of the wins are within basically a 20-point margin.
They were close,
It's
right?
not that they've been dominant, they've been solid, they've been respectable, and obviously now they need to turn it up and shut down the slang from New York Subliners.
Well, for New York, one of their wins, of course, domination was against Atlanta FaZe. It was a very good win. Zuma, for me, was the key player when we talked about domination. He was making veteran plays consistently. Can he try and do the same here? As it stands, home hills have been kept up, B still neutral. However, Zuma in prime position to try and make a play. Attach is there to help, and now New York, they've managed to find a couple of kills, almost 3. B flag should be there to claim.
That is just overwhelming pressure. It was the duo putting in the work early. Now you got accuracy again at his home on the objective. He's going to fall. His teammates are there from the trade in New York off to the early start. You can already see on the minimap, no wasted pressure. Zero is already in green. He's, well, was going to be the cutoff man. Luke is there to shut him down, but all this pressure that Zuma and the Subliners are getting makes it easier to hold this B flag, because after you get that wave of kills, accuracy is there waiting.
It's important to note, though, look at what that pressure at B does on the bottom side of the map. Paris Legion spawning in between their home hill and New York's home hill allows them now to put pressure on the C side. However, New York should know this based on how close to B they were spawning. So someone's going to have to wrap back. That somebody is accuracy. He has a big job to do because Dens is ready and waiting, poised to try and neutralize the C hill. He's just going to run straight through it because unfortunately his teammates have all fallen. Dens doesn't really want to have to try and make the heroic play himself, and unfortunately he will fall. So for now, the score 27-16 and still a 2-1.
It was a really nice setup that the Subliners had as well, right? You would attach watching across for such a long time where maybe it seemed like Paris could just flood onto the flag, but they were taking damage before they could get there. And, well, right now it's just that overwhelming pressure from the Subliners that are just, well, building themselves a nice little lead.
New York Subliners looking good, feeling good, playing good. I want to send it over to an Astro Gaming listening with New York.
Pipe. Let's go, that's 4, that's Happy. You could play quick.
Pipe.
Go to CL spawn, go to CL.
You're good, Tom. I got you.
I'm gonna go play left side.
I got pipe.
One's deep on the deep. Green box, one shot.
I'm gonna push this.
Green box, absolutely dead.
I'm getting a trade from you guys.
This is green box if you have a nade.
David box. Yo,
Two boxes, two green. Yo, mid-wall.
Yeah, mid-wall kiss.
One more, done.
More boxes, Shox.
I'm top crate right now.
Nice.
All green, in green, then you've been backed up.
Look at me, guys.
Don't know how to play.
Look at me.
Well, Chance, for me, that's one of the best listen-ins we've actually had all year. Clean, precise communication. Of course, as you mentioned, Paris Legion 2-0 on this map. New York taking it to them, though, with 3 minutes left of the first half. 57-32 the score.
And New York are just suffocating. You've been having Zuma attaching Temp just constantly and just slaying positions where they're just pouring it all towards that A side of the map, giving them no room to breathe. Zero, though, trying to help out the pressure game. Gets a little D-mate double kill. Now Shox is like, thank you, I need an opening.
He's just making it interesting. resting for his teammates. That's all he's doing. Can they clean up? Well, yes, they can. Attach and Zuma spring into life. B still not captain. The one thing that's been so impressive from New York Subliners so far, admittedly only 3 minutes played, is the way they've controlled the map. They've controlled the spawns very, very well. Whenever there's been a situation where Paris Legion could overextend, someone has tracked back to deal with it. So yes, they're putting an immense amount of pressure on Paris Legion, but they're also controlling the spawns very, very well.
Zero just having flashbacks to the jetpack arrow, but Zed's going to come out on top for the kill. And despite all the pressure that New York has had on, it's really not that substantial of a lead.
True.
You see Zed's doing a really nice job of kind of keeping C locked down. And yes, New York has held on to B pretty much the entirety of this side. But now you actually have Paris. They're on the flag trying to take it away, and still C has not been capped on New York.
And bear in mind, there's one orange arrow right at the bottom, and Attach almost spotted him. It's going to be Zed, who I believe is just ready and waiting over towards the C hill. And he's just waiting, so very patient, but oh no! That's not pretty at all. Through the smoke, Attach jumps out. He finds the kill, and New York will claim their home flag.
I mean, they claim the home flag, but again, Paris has done a phenomenal job. Like, if you look at players, Denton, Shock, the guys that are supposed to be leading you in slaying, that are 3-8, 4-9, you imagine they're getting smoked, which from the pressure it seems so, but it's only a 20-point game, a minute and a half left, and honestly not a bad spot for Paris to be in.
I mean, one of the keys for New York was when they were able to actually neutralize the home hill of New York. They kept it neutral for so long that the point lead, which could have been out of control, a massive chance, is actually pretty small to your point, but now New York put the pressure on. They want to try and fight inside B. Zero finds one, the trade is there. Paris should be good to hold on to the B flag.
Now you got the litmus test in accuracy. Well, he's on a 4 spree. He's down and posted up, and now it's basically all Paris wrapping back just to deal with Attach. Finally, Luca is able to take him down, but again, New York are just agents of chaos everywhere on the map. Pressure towards A, pressure towards C. They're happy just to leave the B flag in the hands of Paris momentarily because they're still accruing that lead.
Problem, B kept A, 45 seconds left, and they trade out B. Now this is where it gets scary for New York because C is gone. That will be under Paris control. New York spawning over toward the A side, but with 35 seconds left, I don't think they'll be too worried. As long as they can cap up B, which they have successfully done, they should be A-okay, or have they? No, Zed with the challenge. He's going to deny Attach the last few seconds, so B is back to being neutral. But I think if you're New York, you'll be relatively happy, all things considered, with the lead you're going to have going into the second half.
I mean, realistically, the only positive thing with Paris is when you're getting outslayed that hard and it's keeping it relatively close, like that's kind of like a nice caveat. And of course, for New York, we saw the keys to success. It was to keep up the slaying. They've done exactly that. They had themselves a nice little lead, but obviously, as we're saying, they cannot afford to slow down at all. They have to keep the foot on the gas.
It was very good first half from New York, but now going into the second half, we'll see Paris can turn things around. I'm curious to see what New York's opening break is going to be on the second side. Do they want to maybe just flood Paris Legion's side, go for the setup, which was so successful for them in the first half, or will they just settle for the B hill?
And this is going to be an incredibly important break for Paris as well. Trying to mount that comeback. The opening break can be everything because it decides whether or not you're getting spawn trapped a bit towards C for the first minute and a half of the game, or if you win it and get that CB flag pressure, you can do to New York what New York did to you.
It's a pretty mirror matchup split outside of New York only having 2 over towards B as opposed to Paris Legion's 3, but the nade kill from Zero may actually be able to help things out as Temp flies through the door, tried to make the play. New York will surely fall unless Attach can go big at B's by himself. Players all around, he drops. And another, that's the second time you've done the accuracy, I'm counting, but it doesn't matter because he finds a kill anyway.
He's got to work on his little nade spots, just a little bit farther to the right, you'll be good to go, but if not nades, his gun has been on point. This is 3 games in a row where accuracy has just been a man on a mission. He was 9-1 or something like that in the search and destroy. He had 28 kills, led the lobby in map number 1. We talked about him needing more slaying. Accuracy has provided exactly that.
He's playing out of his mind so far in this first series. However, unfortunately for New York, Paris should get a little bit of control now on the map. 4 players go down. C is capped up. There's 1 player causing havoc on the home hill. That was Zed. He will fall. B should be capped up by Paris. And this now chance is where Paris can chip away at the lead and potentially try and make the comeback.
And you see no time wasted from the Subliners, though. They have a ton of pressure over towards C flag, and Temp's actually going to be able to make it there. You do have players from Paris watching the cross, but it's going to come down to the nades to get that player off the flag, but a ton of progression is still there, and you see New York are able to decap it for a moment. Accuracy still alive, trying to take down Zed with the pistol, does get shut down, and now you actually have a bit of a spawn flip coming in as well. Paris is now capping it.
119 to 95. Paris slowly but surely coming back into this one. 4 minutes remain. Zuma with a double attached, looks for one as well, but Zed finds the pick for New York. Now can they put pressure back on towards B? Control of the C hill. Accuracy was waiting for the push to come through, and rightfully so, because he shut down Shocks. Meanwhile, Temp trying to find a gap mid-map. Somewhere to expose maybe the setup here of Paris. Has he done it? Has he got behind enemy lines? That's the question. Well, I think Paris is looking for him, but Dens isn't going to know about it. Temp now knows there's one behind the double from Temp. Sit down, Shocks. Almost 3 for Temp as he single-handedly walks into the B hill. He's not done yet. Finally, Luca shuts him down, but the play from Temp enough for New York to break into B.
I could be convinced Temp has active camo popped at all times. He's killing people, and there is no reaction from the side of Paris. 2 maps in a row as to where he is, but I guess when all is said and done, Temp goes crazy just for a moment, and Paris eventually able to stabilize that B flag.
And this now, for me, is where New York have to be precise with their decision-making. What do they want to do? Do you keep pushing B for maybe another minute or so? Or at this point, do you try and make it as chaotic as possible and push the home hill? For me now, with 3 players falling at B, you've got to push the home hill. You have to put pressure on A, but Dens has sniffed it out. Doesn't matter. Zuma wins the fight. He's going to have another 1v2. He did this so much on opening weekend, and I praised him so highly for how much of a nuisance Zuma can be. Paris Legion, they know he's there. They have to deal with him, and unfortunately for him, he does fall. Paris 10 points away from tying things up.
Well, it's going to be attached, leading the charge for the Subliners, trying to pick up the slang just a little bit, but you see all those little orange arrows hanging around in and around that B flag. So far, so good. Attach is able to get one, but the trades are going to be there. Now it's 0 on the flag inside of the smoke. Trying to be confusing, but Zed with the double kill, able to take him down.
And Paris is just wanting so close to B. It's so hard for New York now to really try and put pressure on that side, and all the gunfights now seemingly being lost. If you're New York, at what time do you push the panic button? At what time do you say, forget B, we have to overextend, cause absolute chaos? Against Atlanta, they were so good in those chaotic moments, and now they've let the lead they had in the first half slip. 146 to 145, the next tick, Paris Legion going to the lead.
And shout out Shocks as well, right? He was 3-9 at one point. He's turned his game around at 19-17. Kismet trying to be the leading man. He does die there, but got 2 kills just before it. It is just the perfect setup. Now you have Zed on C. If he can neutralize
this is brave.
This is where the lead gets out of control.
Oh, he's neutral. Has he got away? No, he hasn't. The nade will shut him down. You have to be very careful when you go for those plays, especially when you have the lead, but it works out for now. Paris still with the advantage. 157, 149. New York get their home hill. 1:30 on the clock. New York, you've got to be perfect.
As players running right in front of him, able to take down accuracy. And well, New York has a ton of pressure on this B flag. They're trying to just neutralize it. Zed trying to stop him. Cannot connect. It's Temp and Attach the duo.
Oh, that was massive. Temp finds 2. Attach watch the flank, and now all of a sudden B, does it belong to New York? It does maybe if they can stay alive, but Temp will fall. The reinforcements, they're coming. The cavalry is there in the form of 0, but the nade shuts him down. The flank comes through from accuracy. Does he want to commit to it? Less than a minute left. 168, 156. New York, you have to be quick. You cannot be slow in this situation.
And you see the plan right now from Paris. Just put pressure over towards Z just to alleviate it over towards B, but New York, well, they're down by quite a bit. They're gonna have to get a flag.
They need a decap at very least here over towards A, and Temp's gonna go for the smoke pops. Neutral comes through. Denza shut down Attach. Temp has to stay alive. 0 is also there. Bear in mind what's going on at B. Keep your eye on the minimap. Someone's OE'd over towards C as well. Temp has to win that fight. He does, but unfortunately for New York, B is going to be decapped. C is also going to be decapped as well. Paris Legion, they were unbeaten on this map and game mode, and Chance, I think it's going to stay that way.
And that just gets so spicy as well with the first half that the Subliners had. You think they're in a great spot, but again, they were just massively outslaying the Paris Legion. The second half, it wasn't spectacular by the Paris. They weren't making crazy plays, just a consistent amount of slaying over time, consistent pressure towards that C flag. So annoying to play with, so annoying to deal with, and Paris come out on top, still undefeated on Gunrunner.
So the series, after map 1 and 2, looked like it could be a quick one. Even after the first half of domination, Chance, I was a little worried for Paris, but they've showed some life here in London. They take game 3. That's now a 3-0 record on that map and game mode, Domination Gunrunner. So congrats to them. Clearly they found the secret recipe that works for them. But now, can they come back into this series? Can they try and get a reverse sweep to start things off here in London?
I mean, I think they absolutely can, but of course he got the play of the game, and honestly, it's another one, dealer's choice, but Shock's able to just gun player number 3, and it's a team kill. The only thing that could stop Shocks in those heat of the moments.
Of course, that your Scuff Gaming play of the game. Paris Legion, a very well-played second half. They're in that domination. Really good stuff from them, as we mentioned, staying alive now in the series.
Stay alive in the series and try to pull off that reverse sweep. And again, this is why hot takes are so difficult to make. As great as New York Subliners looked on maps 1 and map 2, you can't get ahead of yourself until the fat lady sings.
So here's the scary thing for me. If Paris do push this to a game 5, I start getting a little concerned. I start getting maybe a little scary, because you look at game 2, New York was all over Paris. It was a terrible map. Terrible for Paris Legion statistically. A couple of players really struggled. I don't think that happens again. I don't see a world where Paris Legion search is that bad again. Because yes, it was good from New York, but it wasn't one of those, like, you go back to opening weekend, Atlanta FaZe, when you watch them play Search and Destroy, it was just dominant. Every single round was just absolutely dominant. New York was good, but I don't think they were that good.
And it's a small point, but it's worth bringing up as well. We actually have seen Paris on Armaza before. They beat Optic 6-3, so there is a bit of like home cooking that Revan and JP can go take a look at to try to figure out Paris' strats. Well, if we go to a map number 5, it's going to be on Petro. I think we have double Petro for the hardpoint and S&D to finish off the series. But if it goes there, now you have no information on the team. So yes, it's a small little advantage for map 2 that's now taken away from map 5, but there's just no information across the board on these maps.
Could make things a little spicy. As we said, New York currently leads the series 2-1 against Paris Legion. The storyline coming in for us, and I think many at home, was Paris really overperforming on opening weekend. Everyone sort of had them on the bottom side of power rankings, and for New York, it was really underperforming, if nothing else. A little bit disappointing performance when you look at that group of players and what you expect them to achieve. So far, though, New York looked good in the series. Map number 1 was a good win, by no means a blowout. Map 2 definitely was a blowout, though. Map 3, finally, Paris is awake.
And on a map like St. Petro, I mean, for at least the Subliners' sake, I'm going to be staring at accuracy pretty much the entire time. And you can make it an AR battle and look at Dens from the other side as well and see which one of those assault rifle players is going to have more success, because Petro is a map that if you're an M4 player, you're a little bit happier than you ordinarily would be in this game. So we'll see which one of those players can come out on top and if accuracy can continue the dominant series that he's had.
He's been very, very good. Game 1 started off pretty good. Game 2, excellent. Game 3, very, very good as well. Just unfortunately, his team lose the map. But now, St. Petrograd, hardpoint. Game 4, Paris Legion looking to send us to a Game 5.
We'll see if they can pull something off crazy again. Had the hot hands, trying to fight for a little bit of that momentum coming into this new Petro, and see if they can scorch one away, Ben.
And credit to Dens, for me, throughout this series, when Paris hasn't even been playing at their best, he's been absolutely fantastic to keep that pace up. But we start things off on board with Zuma. His nade finds a hit marker, but he finds the kill, and there's number 2 as well. Zuma so fast, so aggressive. New York in the hill.
That is a man that has perfected his opening breaks. Yes. Hey, I know they're coming down the wall. Let's just shoot through the door. They're going to be there. So you got the nade to cover one, you got the bullets through the wall to cover the other, and it's the perfect opening break. Of course, though, Paris, well, they're already just heavily focused, if not on the hill, on securing the spawns, because, again, just off the rip, New York have just bounced back from the final bits of that domination game.
Lead. About 30-0 so far as Attach says, no, that's my door. 2 kills in quick succession. One more as New York look to try and flood the spawns. Paris have to make sure they don't lose control of this, because the early time is all in favor of New York. The kills are going to be crucial, but a team kill comes through. Where is Kismet going to spawn? Luckily for him, deep in the back of the map, but Zero finds himself a double, and he's doing enough to just block that spawn for now, but he needs help. He needs his teammates to push, and he's going to feel this pressure coming. He's going to expect it.
He's going to expect the worst possible time. Doesn't even hear the player opening the door behind him, so Kismet will say thank you very much, but now you have this sticky spawns for Volt Paris, and they're going to be happy for it inside the hill. Dens knows exactly where he needs to look, but again, the AR battle, accuracy falls. We're back over to Dens, and the kills are free if he even has to get them.
And this is now huge for Paris. They have to hold this hill and really just reduce the lead New York was able to gain on that first hill. You've obviously talked a lot about accuracy, 1 and 5 to start things off, but it's Attach and Zuma, 6 and 3, 0, 5 and 3 himself. They keep trying to apply the pressure with just 19 seconds left on the hill. I think they've just done enough.
Den's got so bored of not being able to shoot anything that his teammate moves right in front of him, gives him a little love tap, and, well, New York do break through. But now Zed, actually the lead cutoff man, takes down Accuracy, and that is a very big gunfight. Now he can get pressure on this left side, just deal with Temp and just get the kill or at least slow him down, because you see Zed knows he needs to run back because his teammates are falling around.
Yep, Zed just, again, realizing the importance of just blocking the spawn, waiting for his teammates to pinch the hill. He's played this very well, but again, the teammates have to come very, very quickly. His attach is going to find one. It's going to find number two as well as he just springs into life in the hill. But again, Zed did such a good job staying alive. His teammates now spawning on top of him. Much better chance to try and break.
And this is a massive opportunity right now for the Subliners that they're able to even get the next 15, 20 seconds and keep the right side spawns. They're going to be set up long term, but attach inside the hill, just hanging out. He's got Temp with the guns with him. But as Temp falls, it comes down to attach. The last man inside the hill does get dropped, but 22 seconds. New York will say, thank you, we'll take the time. We already have a 50-point lead, and we're gonna win the gunfights anew. Now they're trying to set up for that full 60.
Oh, they're gonna be very, very happy with that. Just 14 seconds left on that hill. Yes, it will go to Paris, but you can see New York pushing up, trying to get map control as that next rotation chance is gonna be so, so hard. But, honestly, New York could really build themselves such a sizable lead now.
Yeah, and you talk about difficult hills to break. This one is definitely towards the top of the list in Modern Warfare. And, well, Accuracy, again, with the M4, just has crazy long lines of sight. You got Zuma with 2 kills, make it number 3. He makes it look easy, and this is where he's at his best. When he can roam around and just kill everything in sight, he will thrive.
The Italian stallion, man. Just let him roam around the map. 16 and 8. Double positive so far. Having a great time here in London in the opening series. And for New York, they're still inside the hill. 30 seconds, finally a little bit of life, but the trade is there from Zuma. He's not giving away that hill time.
And Zuma, just the silent assassin. It's like I'm watching him shoot his gun, but I can barely hear it because of how quick and quiet this man has been. 19 and 8 on a 3 spree. Every life, he's getting at least 2 or 3 kills in a row. Doing damage like that, his shot then is on point.
And this was the fear, right? When you rotate towards pool hole, how long that rotation is, how hard it can be. New York have built themselves almost a 100-point lead as it ticks over 144 to 56. Paris Legion are in a whole world of danger, and they cannot get broken this quickly. It just can't happen. 3 kills already for New York. They're looking for more. Shox and Kismet have to go big, but Shox last man. New York have just walked into the hill, chance.
Walked into the hill, and again, they're making it look easy. This is New York at their best. This is a team of roaming slayers just having their way. Shox up top is trying to do what he can, but you see the kill feed. He's not getting a massive amount of help. The team kills are not going to help anything, and he has spent, what, 30 seconds trying to go down some stairs.
Yeah.
Not successful at all, so he's trying to go out the back door. Accuracy sitting there waiting for him.
And this is almost where you might just have to concede that time if you're Paris and set up ready on new and really just try and make that comeback. Because the game started with New York with a solid hold on P1, and they were able to contest P2 before a great hold again on towards P3. For me, if you're Paris Legion now, you have to do exactly the same as what New York did to you in the first rotation of hills.
I mean, this is almost like Accuracy and Attach have switched roles. Accuracy hasn't seen a single second of hill time. Attach has lived inside the hill, has managed to get 15 kills, but there's not a lot to do when Tommy, again, 22 and 10, has been feasting. But again, it is a team of roaming slayers. Temp now up top. He's in a position he likes to be. They're just feeding him kills. Now he's on a 5 spree. Zero on the other side of the map is picking up kills left and right. It is just an insurmountable pressure game. New York started hot in the series in the hard point. They didn't do great in the domination, at least not in the second half, but they reflipped that switch. They are just on a tear.
30 seconds of hill time remain. New York over the 200-point mark, and now the question is, Paris Legion, you're about to get a 100-point club here in game 4. As the rotation will be coming in shortly. You can see New York already trying to put that much pressure on the backside of the map. And if you're Paris Legion now, Chance, you just have to stay alive. And you almost have to play perfectly.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, if you're Paris Legion, you have to get full 60, then rotate, get a full 60. Like, New York Subliners, in effect, can set up 3 hills in advance from now, put down the controllers, hang out and wait, pick them up for the rotation, and they'll be good to go. It's a massive lead, and on a map like Petro, we haven't seen too many insane comebacks yet. I'm not expecting it to be the case here.
And all credit to Zuma for me. This map, absolutely fantastic. The man is 25 and 11 with a minute 10 hill time. He has taken over game 4 for New York Subliners. And yes, if you're Paris Legion, you may be able to fight for 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there. But the experience of New York should tell them, we just need to contest every now and then, make sure we rotate early for at least 1 hill, and the game, Chance, should be over.
I mean, in effect, there's not even a point for New York to put pressure on this hill. They absolutely can because they have such a massive lead, but you go over, you win the rotation, you just keep the Paris Legion at bay, and you'll be good to go. And, well, actually, a lot of kills going the way of Paris, but it's just, again, too little too late. So much to deal with.
The key kill there for me is accuracy on Shock. Shock's just trying to rotate. Accuracy is ready and waiting. And look at how deep in the map he already is to the point you just made, Chance. He knows. I just have to go to the back of the map, unlock the spawn for Paris, and boom. We take the first series here in London.
It's just about running the stats up at this point. 15 seconds and the Subliners will take the game. Paris try to go through mid-map. Temp is going to be hanging out waiting. Luca with the nice kill, but what does it amount to? It is just a tragedy of all proportions for Paris, trying to fight their way through mid-map to get to this hill. New York putting an absolute stamp on the game.
Well, GG New York Subliners. They'll take the first series of the day here in London, 3-1. And it was Zuma with the explosive game 4 to close things out. And to be fair, a great series all around from that young man.
I mean, just completely absurd. I mean, literally right from the opening break, Zuma comes up, starts wallbanging, people lasering through walls. You get the clean 5 down, and there was one hill the entire time that Paris had any amount of success. Otherwise, it was outclassed, outgunned, and outplayed.
Curious to see what that maybe changes for the perception of Paris Legion, but still, I think it's fair to say not enough data yet. This is, of course, tournament format, so we'll see a lot more games than we did opening weekend, Chance, and maybe that should help really fill in the missing pieces, if you will, of those two teams.
Fill in the missing pieces, but it's just a situation where so much Call of Duty left to be played because we make the hot takes, but it's going to be a very long year. But again, full credit to New York. Tommy turned up when he's got his dad in the building. You know, Papa Zuma gives them that extra bit of horsepower, if you will.
That's good.
I'm proud of that one, actually.
That was actually very good.
Thank you.
But you're absolutely right. It seems every time his dad is in the building, you get just a little bit more from Zuma, and, you know, rightfully so. Playing in front of a very, very proud father. And such a good performance from him. But that's going to be everything from myself and Chance for now. We're going to send it down to the main stage with Frankie.
Thank you very much, guys. What an epic opener. This is your instant reaction presented by PlayStation. And here I am to present our resident Brit in New York. It's Zero. Listen, first of all, what's it like winning the opening match here in London?
I mean, we had a tough Minnesota, you know, 0-2, but we went back and just said, listen, they're pre-matches. We obviously didn't play very well. We just went back and played a lot harder than we did and came here and beat a very favorable team to win, so.
Listen, I'm new in this game. I don't want to be rude, but your search and destroy, it didn't look great in Minnesota. Today was a different story. What did you learn from the last time we saw you play?
I think we learned that New Yorkers could not go to London and play Piccadilly. But yeah, we came here during the veto process. Their coaches were laughing. They were laughing about the map choices. And as you can tell, looking at the score, they're not laughing anymore.
At the same time, though, not laughing anymore, but it was a bit of a shaky start, though, on Hardpoint, that first map, Hackney Yard.
Listen, Hackney Yard's just one of those ones where they had better spawns, but we knew we could. That's one of the maps where we know we can just go ham because we got 3 of the best sub players in the game, and then you've got me that can do it all. So other than that, we took it to them. They started laughing, and I hate it when people laugh about VOs because they just were free kills.
The thing is, though, they did tell me yesterday that you refused to scrim against them. They said that you thought they weren't good enough to scrim against.
Yeah, they literally scrimmed in Europe for like a few months, and obviously we didn't think they were good enough. They went to Minnesota and proved they were. We haven't scrimmed them since, obviously, because they were in our group for London. We're going to scrim them because they're a good team, but other than that, we didn't scrim them because we didn't think they were good enough. Well,
listen, that was quite a nice thing. You did call them a good game. Thank you so much, Zero. What do we think of our boy? There we go. Congratulations to the New York Subliners for winning the opening series here at the Copperbox Arena in London. That was your instant reaction presented by PlayStation. And coming up after the break, we're going to see the Dallas Empire take on the Seattle Surge.